We're in feast week. Seton Hall should probably be playing for the Maui championship, but we're all in at the Big East Energy Network, baby, because the Pirates are back. You're on the weekly show. All right, welcome to Big East Energy Weekly with our host Casey Matthews. Cap, how we doing? You're on mute, brother. I just want to make sure that people can hear you. And I honestly don't know what else to say, but the basketball has been phenomenal. And the first team I have to talk about is our Seton Hall Pirates. I am rocking if I had a Shaheen Holloway jersey, I'd be wearing it from 1994. If I had a Terry DeHare jersey, I'd be rocking it. But I didn't have the opportunity. So obviously I thank Home Field, not a sponsor, but wonderful shirts. I'm always rocking my Seton Hall and DePaul shit all the time. And
who's getting paid? I want to know who's getting paid more. The announcers and all the national media at the Players era, or you by Brian.
Brian's not paying me a damn thing.
It's unbelievable.
I was doing payroll. I was doing payroll this morning. I have to pay out Brian some money because Seton Hall's starting to make some money on YouTube, baby. Let's go. Come on. I mean, like, honestly, Cap, you guys have had a tough season to start, and then obviously starting to see some good vibes with Xavier. Like, how great is this for Seton Hall? Now it doesn't stop. Like, they play again today, maybe get a third place finish. What does it say about Shaheen, the team, the players, and this team going forward?
Well, it's huge for expectations because I can empathize with their plight of just being that team that no one had any expectations for. And I think that can be the most fun season sometimes when you come into a season with low expectations and just blow the doors off because everyone's just pumping up all these other teams. And, hey, here we are, the Pirates, as everyone expected.
Casey, from a coaching perspective,
you
come to this year and – Shaw said it at Media Day. I like my team. They're a scrappy bunch. I had Brian D. Novellis on from Tri-State College Basketball Podcast, and we both just said that the thing that we loved about this team is that they are mirroring Shaw's mentality as a player and as a coach. Do you agree with that?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think you look at some of their numbers too. I think they've got again, this is Ken Palm numbers, but they've got the nation's leader in block percentage. Literally he's number one. I got some of them, here. They're number one in block percentage defensively. Like, turnover rate defensively is off the charts.
Yep.
I think that's what Shaheen always wants to be, is a very tough team, physical, and that makes it hard for you defensively. I think one of the stats that I always like to look at is tempo. We're going to talk about it, I'm sure, but how fast they are as individuals. But what they do defensively is they make you slow down, and they really enforce their pace defensively. And right now, their average defensive possession is over 18 seconds. Okay, which right now that's one of the longest in the country. It's in the 350s. So what that tells me as a coach is you're going to have to work to score. You're going to have to run your offense and probably not get anything off your set. Now, can you break me down and go score? So I like what they're doing. Give you the other side of it is I worry about them long term because they don't shoot it well. And so they don't. So, like,
I'm going to give you the Shane Gillis.
But but numbers wise, they don't shoot it well. So for me, it's okay. What do you do when you get against a team that can force their pace, that wants to play fast? I mean, again, it's always easy to look at UConn and St. John's in our league, but those are great examples because those are the teams that they're going to have to beat in order to get a tournament bid. So can they do it against those teams? I don't know. I love what they're doing. I do.
Well, I'm going to stop you there for 1 second. And I'm not saying NC State is on the level of St. John's or UConn, but they have the similar talent level.
Sure.
NC State is as talented as UConn or St. John's by far. They spent probably $10 million in the portal between Darian Williams and Copeland and all these guys. And, Trey Holloway from Michigan State. That's a high major win. This isn't, no disrespect, this isn't, them beating, Boise State. It just isn't. Like that's a top 25 win.
It's a great
and a team that probably is going to finish top 3 or 4 in the ACC. So I think they can do it. And you're right. Maybe they're not. I don't think they're the best pure shooting team. But what I love about this team is they have a bunch of dogs like Bud Clark who can get his shot off on anybody with his quickness, even though he's short. And also Staten McCray. I think those guys are two in the same. But the thing that I love about this team the most is when they were down 2 or 3 to USC in that game before all the craziness happened. And I believed, what does that say to me about that? I had no fear that they would steal a ball on the press and be able to get a 3 to tie the game. Like I almost predicted that happening real time because this team just gets in your grill and doesn't panic. And that's the thing that I liked about it. I don't agree with Jay Willis a ton, but the one thing that he said was, hey, what I loved about that possession is there was no panic. Like there wasn't like, oh my God, we're down 3. I got to get the ball. Like they stole it.
Right.
Their shot, wide open 3, bang, almost win the game. Cap, anything else to add about Seton Hall before we crown them the Big East champs?
Well, it's just got me licking my chops for Big East ball. I mean, I just cannot wait to see them go against these other physical teams in the Big East. And even though they lost yesterday, if I'm a Seton Hall fan, I'm still just incredibly just positive.
Sure.
I mean, it was a close game. You were right there down to the wire, played them tough, and it just completely raises the bar for what we expect out of Seton Hall now.
Yeah.
How about Najee Hines?
Yeah.
I mean, listen. Is he baby Shaq? Probably not. But good God, I mean, his ability to catch ball in traffic, he made some great passes out of post position where he was getting doubled for a freshman. Like he's physically imposing, and I don't think he got enough credit and how he played in Maui and hopefully continues to play today. So I'm like I said, I know we're joking around about being haul in, but like I really do like, and there's a couple teams that I'm really excited about this year, and the other one is Butler. I've been a Michael Ajayi fan for a while. I like Finley Bizjack. I think this team, Traore, like I think this team is doing more with less than probably any team in the country, and they just beat a Virginia team that is expected to be in the top half of the ACC. That's a really well coached team. It's not like they're, to use a JJ Redick term, they're like they're beating plumbers and firefighters. Like they got some quality wins too. Thoughts?
I'm not as high on Butler.
AC?
I know I'm not as high on Butler. I get it. Like I think what they're doing is good. I'm not trying to take anything away from them. I just haven't seen enough yet for me to be like, okay, like, well, are they better than I thought they were going to be coming into the season? Yes, they are. But South Carolina and Virginia, like they just don't do it for me in terms of like, I'm way more impressed with Seton Hall than I am Butler, I guess is what I'm saying. So,
but do you think that's a microcosm of the fact that it's Seton Hall and Butler has had some recent tradition and has been to the mountaintop recently, been to a Final Four, been to a championship game, et cetera. Your own Roosevelt Jones, who does a great job for us, has been on some really good Butler teams. Like, do you think that's part of it? Like just that kind of recency bias?
No, because I honestly, like coming into the season, I had Butler picked very low. I think I might even had him picked last. So I don't know.
What's our bet, Casey?
Yes, I'm not.
What's our bet?
You want to
tell everybody?
There's a bet that they won't make the tournament, and if they don't make the tournament, Mark is going to buy me dinner. If they do, I got to buy Mark dinner. And right now, it doesn't look. The other day.
Right after they beat Virginia.
Oh, okay. It's going to get dicey. I think that's a good bet. That's a good bet.
I think it's a fair bet.
I'd like to know what the odds are.
I am not a guy, like I know a lot of people, and I don't really consider myself media. Maybe I am, but I'm not biased. No, I'm very biased. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I have one of my best friends, the all-time winningest player in Butler history, and we are really, really close friends. But we also hate each other in a loving way, if that makes sense. So. It's like weird. I want Butler to do well for the league, but I also want them to do poorly so that I can text him and say, what's wrong with Butler? Right now, it's been a lot of what's wrong with your Jays, and I need that to change. So, am I biased? Yes, but no. In all honesty, like, look, they're offensive rebounding off the charts. They're playing fast basketball. My question with Butler is to me, they have two guys.
Mhm.
And a lot of times that's okay. You could be really good with two guys. Again, I'm going to go back to this league. I think the league is actually better maybe than we all thought collectively. Like Creighton's not, but collectively, I feel like the league is better. Can they do it every night against the level of competition they're going to see? I don't know. I hope so, because I truly do want Butler to do well. I'll buy you a dinner, Mark. But I just right now I can't jump on the bandwagon. Seton Hall, I'm pretty close. Butler, I'm still like arm's distance. Go ahead, Cap. I got to hear what the great Cap thinks here.
No, you're good, man. I do think Butler's legit. I don't know if I'm willing to go tournament legit, but they're right there. And I think that's what we've been asking for as Big East fans, is who's going to fill in that middle. I think we've got Butler now. We've got Georgetown now. We've got Seton Hall now. So my question to you guys would be, is there now a clear divide of like what the tiers are? And what's your confidence in this upcoming group? And maybe has it changed your calculus on how many teams dance? Because I thought the over-under was maybe 3.5. Maybe now it's at 4.5.
I think for me, that's a great question. I think for me, and we'll get to why Creighton's having their issues here in a second, but I think their drop has allowed teams like Georgetown, teams like, obviously St. John's got a big win against Baylor. UConn is UConn. They're not a whole yet. I don't know what's going to happen with Illinois. We'll see. We'll see if Terrace Reed is back. I hear they're getting Braylon Mullins back on Friday, so that's a good thing. So when they're whole, they're going to be fine. It's going to be about Georgetown, all about Villanova. They're playing solid. They're a top 40, Ken Pom team. Villanova, Georgetown, Butler, and Seton Hall. Those four. And then can Xavier continue that climb of, they're like I said, I just feel like it's a team that was a bunch of mid-major guys that were bigger, not as quick as you see with Seton Hall, not as twitchy. But they have a bunch of dudes that can get their own shot. And you saw it against Georgia, start that ascension. Then you saw it against who'd they just beat? West Virginia, right? Where they controlled that game for the majority. And I think the league, to Casey's point, is a lot better than people have said, because let's face it, right? When UConn loses to Arizona, St. John's loses to Iowa State, people start to go, and then Creighton's losing to Gonzaga by 100, but so is everybody. And, you look at it and go, man, this league sucks. But the reality is, how do we talk about that in a nuanced way? It's the bottom of the league is so much better than we ever thought. And I think that makes it more of at least a 4-bid league, in my opinion. I don't think you can denounce, Georgetown's going to be a top 30 net team. Villanova's going to be right on that bubble. It's going to be about, do they split with UConn? Do they split with St. John's? To Casey's point, if you can win a game at home against St. John's or UConn, that's going to be top 20 net. You're going to get consideration, because that's a conference win. It's a quad 1 win, and those games are now quad 2 games. That they just are, and they will be. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing. I don't think there's going to be any quad 3 games this year in the Big East, which is a huge win for the conference.
Yeah, go ahead, Kyle. I want to hear what you think.
Yeah, it just has raised my bar, because, you're right. The bottom is just nice. It just looked like Xavier's going to be terrible. If we want to talk Xavier for just a quick second, frankly, sure, it looked like we were going to have one of the worst high major seasons in recent history. It was bad. And I don't think Xavier's a tournament team, but I think they're going to be competitive. And I don't think they're going to be a loss that kills you, or, they're going to sneak up on some teams. And I think that's what we needed. We couldn't deal with having DePaul and Xavier sub 150, so now it's nice that we have a bunch of quality teams in this league. And I think Georgetown's everything that's legit. And I still would buy the dip on Creighton. So now that kind of raises my chance. Can we get 5? Can we get Seton Hall to sneak in there, or, a Villanova to sneak in there, which would be huge for the league. I'm writing off Marquette, though. That's the only team that's in my hate ranking.
Yeah, me too. I'm with you there too. If there's a team on the other side of things where Casey and I are giving each other shit for, is I will take an L on Marquette. I wanted to believe in Shaka, but you've seen some of the discourse around Marquette. When he loses, it's Marquette fans when Shaka Smart's in a press conference and he loses, and their heads are down. All the words around them are culture and. I got to get my guys here and there. And I get it. And he is a great media guy. The conversation I had with him at Media Day was great. But man, It is tough to hear that stuff when you're losing at home or you're losing to teams that you absolutely have no business losing to.
Yeah, they're one of those programs for me that I'm not a big Marquette fan.
He's just like a curmudgeon. Do you feel this, Cap?
Look, guys, I'm hurting right now.
That's fair.
I hate basketball. I don't know what I'm doing with my life.
We'll talk Creighton because I'm good on the Jays. We're gonna be fine. But no, I mean Marquette. To me, the interesting thing with Marquette is, and it's still so early, so you're gonna hopefully see some development, some of those young guys. But the fans want Marquette to be. This is part of when you're really good, your expectations naturally rise. Creighton's dealing with the same thing. Is that your expectations are that you're going to be a top 3 Big East team every single year. Well, Marquette's basically said, look, we're going to go the freshman route, which we could save this for another show, but I'm not sold right now that Marquette's not doing the right thing. This year, they're going to take some lumps, but as we progress, I think you're going to see more and more teams go the freshman route and just supplement with the transfer portal, but we'll talk that later. They're going to be an interesting case this year because what you don't want to see is them just okay, screw it, we're going to jump ship, and all of a sudden you see them in the mix for all these transfers. And I don't think he'll do that because I do think Shaka is going to go down with the ship one way or the other. He's going to do it his way, and if they're not good enough, they're not good enough. I will say that about him. But yeah, they are a team that for me is like, okay, this is going to be one of those years where their fans just have to suck it up and deal with that they're not very good. In terms of the tiers and your question, Cap, I still see the thing that to me that I had on paper before the season was I felt like Creighton was kind of that second tier by themselves. Now I don't see that anymore. I think that that second tier now is your Georgetowns, Villanova. I think I would probably have those two, and then I think there's the next tier where I would have your Seton Halls and Butler. DePaul is the one that's interesting for me. They really haven't beaten anybody, so it's hard. But they've also lost to to Buffalo, and they lost to Northwestern. They're the one they have Georgia Tech next.
Mm-hmm.
They got to beat Georgia Tech, I think, or you're maybe asking yourself, hold on, is DePaul still DePaul?
This was their year.
Yeah, but I also feel like too, and that's it's a fair question, but I do think that there's some promise there. I think the thing with when you have Holtman and you have the guys that he brought in, he's trying to play a bunch of different guys to try to find any semblance of a connection, right? You're trying to find the right mix, right? To use a Gino Auriemma phrase, he always uses analogies. He's the best at it in the sport about, if you have a recipe that's worked for years and then a couple of ingredients get thrown off, it just doesn't work. And I think that's what all of these coaches are working with. You know what I mean? Think about Richard Pitino, think about Holtman, think about Thad Matta. They've had a way of doing things, Coach Mack, and it's different now. With all the different transfer portal stuff, with guys coming in for a year, losing guys, there's so much of that kind of transactional part of college basketball that wasn't a part of when they started coaching. They've had to adjust. So I think DePaul is going to be fine. I think they're the great example of people that want to say the Big East is dead. Let's hold off on DePaul. I've seen good things. Probably should have beat Northwestern. Got a bad call at the end of the game, in my opinion, where, I'm always the anti-ref guy, so that's fine. But it was a home game. They didn't get a good home whistle, in my opinion, and they lose that game. That could be a perception win if they win that game. But here's the thing: ifs and all that what if stuff, win games. That's the bottom line. DePaul needs to win. I've seen some good things, but they need to win some games. They need to win it now. That's the unfortunate part of this part of college basketball season is we're in November and people are worried about if the season's over. It's dude, exactly. There's so much ball left.
Exactly.
But the problem is you look at their schedule, they've got Georgia.
I know.
Tech, and then the only other team on their schedule that is you'd be like, oh, that's a good win, is Wichita State. Other than that, they don't have any other opportunities to be okay, get some. And then they start conference season with St. John's, I believe.
Look, and here's the thing. I get that. But and that's also part of this too, is like, you got to start winning, even if the wins aren't great. Like, there's a reason why when your team is on the ascension, you schedule a bunch of cupcakes, because you beat the shit out of them. You get a bunch of confidence, and then that train starts to roll, and then your team gets used to winning. Like, I think DePaul needs that. Even if they don't make the tournament, even if they, get, blah, 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 because they're not going to. DePaul's not making the tournament, right? Yeah. So just have a decent season this year. Build off of it. Rev share is coming. That money's coming. You're going to be able to put it to good use. I think that's going to be the biggest thing for them.
And I mean, like, if we're looking for reasons the Big East isn't good, DePaul's not one of them. It's not like you're coming into the Big East, like, oh, DePaul, we need DePaul. Like, we're not counting on DePaul to be good. It's not like they're terrible. It's not like they're awful. Like, I'd say there's slightly less than expectations, but it is a little bit disappointing, because I thought that this was like DePaul's year. I think everyone's low key a DePaul fan in the Big East. So I was like, oh, this is their year. But it's not like they've been like incredibly disappointing. It's just a little disappointing.
Yeah, I think for me it was more of I have thought they could sneak in there in the 6th or 7th in the league this year, based on the way they finished the season.
It just would have been cool to see DePaul in like a real NCAA tournament, kind of race, and
like fighting for their life. Yeah, like it'd be interesting to see. I don't know. I mean, they could still win a few.
Mark said it's November. It's still November.
No, for sure. For sure. I know it's coming. I know it's coming here. Let's just get this. Let's go ahead and get this over.
No. Listen, I'm not. Listen, I want to get to the bigger story, which is, forget it. We'll get into players era and all that crap in a minute here. What is, what? I'm not even going to go to you first, Casey. Cap. When you've watched Creighton for the first couple of games here, and they're playing. Rio Grande, Texas. These are good teams. What have you seen? And then we'll get the coach's corner after you.
Well, it's kind of a similar thing to what I saw early with Xavier. There was just no role definement, with X, and it's a whole different ball game between Xavier and Creighton of what they have talent wise, what their expectations were. But I think with Creighton, they don't know, and it's just toughness at the end of the day with Creighton too. It's toughness, it's rebounding, but the pieces are there, in my opinion. I mean, they got to figure out the five. But if I'm a Creighton fan, I'm buying the dip. And then also, too, I'm a big coaching believer, too. And when you have a guy like Doug McDermott, like, I just, he knows how to win. He knows the formula to win. And I think it's going to be a rough, week or so in Creighton practice. You know what I mean? But that might be what they need. They may have had to go through the fire a little bit. But I would still buy the dip on Creighton. And you have the pieces there. There's a reason expectations were so high. So I would buy that Creighton dip, personally. I don't know if I have them get the original expectations, but I'm buying the dip.
Do you agree with that, or do you because the question off of that is, do you think the pieces are there, or do you think that they're missing certain things?
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting conversation. I will always buy the dip with Creighton because I believe in Coach Mack, right? And I'll never stop that. So I'll always believe that he could figure it out until he proves us otherwise. I was a part of the team that lost 6 in a row in Vegas, and everybody had us written off as dead. Creighton's done. The run is over, and it wasn't. So I would say this: like, when you look at the roster, there's definitely some questions on paper. You're like, okay, this is a strength, and now you're looking at it on the court, and you're like, okay, this is a glaring weakness. Yep. And I think Cap is right. The 5-man has been really disappointing in this era of NIL. The problem is that 5-men are the most expensive players, and they spent the most on him and Josh Dix. So when you essentially push a lot of your chips in for a certain guy, and then he isn't playing up to the standard that you need him to play, it really hurts, because what you've done is you've also not spent as much money on a point guard or another role player, right? You've almost gone the discount route. And I hate to say that because I don't want to sum up a player in that analogy, but that's just kind of essentially what you've done. Well, at this point, my issue is I think we've got to figure out what Owen Freeman is and how do you win with him, because Creighton wants to play fast. They want to shoot the ball quick, and that doesn't play to his strong suit at all. And again, give him a little slack coming off of an injury, but at some point, you're either healthy enough to play or you're not.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you're not, then you need to sit and get healthy, and then we'll play you. But so I trust that he's healthy enough to play, or that Mac wouldn't have him out there. So that to me is a problem. The rebounding is definitely an issue. I don't like the problem really is the games that we've won against the low major teams. We've looked terrible, and you just won in spite of that. And you get beat on the boards by some of those teams. And then you look at the turnovers, and that to me is where, if you look at our losses against Gonzaga, I should have had this today, but I think we took 18 less shots than Gonzaga. Against Baylor, we took 15 less shots. And then yesterday we took, I think, 4 or 5 less shots than Iowa State. So that's just not a recipe for beating a good team. If I'm going into a fight, I'm going, you know, and I can throw, I have to throw 15 less punches than my opponent.
Not good.
There's a better likelihood that they're going to knock me out than me knocking them out.
Yep.
And that's a terrible analogy. I realize, not a boxing guy.
No, that's not a terrible analogy. That's a great analogy.
I just, that to me is an issue, and it starts with taking care of the basketball for them. There's a lot of areas. I think the main area, really, if I had to sum it up, is I really believe this is that every team has to have a Batman, and then you hope that you have a Robin. I think what we have is a lot of Robins, and to me, I want to see Josh Dix become Batman. Okay, and if he can do that, we'll be okay, because I think it has to be him, and I'm bullish on this right now. To Cap, I know you like that term. He's to me, he's got to be the guy. Now, here's the interesting part for me: can Hudson Greer become our Robin? I don't know. I love him though. Love him. True freshman. He is going to be an absolute stud. And yeah, the whole red shirt conversation was fun. We can talk about that again. But love Hudson Greer. I'm pushing all my chips in on Hudson, but the Jays are going to be okay. You gotta adjust your expectations. They're not a top 3 team.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get to the 5th in the league? Yeah, I think so. But right now, it's hard for me to like give you a pie in the sky outlook.
Fair take.
You know what, man? It's a great breakdown. Like I don't really have anything to add to it. Like I don't. It's the truth. Like you gave a really good analogy. I wish we had a soundboard to say I'm Batman, but we don't. And maybe I'll find one before the show is over. But no, I think you're right. And you know, when you don't have the confidence that your ball handlers can kind of put you in the right spot too, that's also an issue, because I mean, you didn't really have that issue with Steven Ashworth. You know, people can talk shit about him all they want, but that dude was a dog. You know what I mean? Like you knew what you were getting from him. You knew you were getting clutch shots. You knew you were getting ball placement in the right spot for shots in your shooting pocket to lob threats. Like they're just not getting all of the nuanced stuff that they got the last few years. And to your point, yeah, man, if you're a boxer and you're not the talented fighter and you're trying to steal a couple rounds, you can't throw less punches. So that is a good analogy.
I appreciate it. Let me touch on one thing you said there too, because I think it's important. Is early on, like in the exhibitions, you read your stuff that your fans are posting, and Nick Graves was fantastic. He was really scoring at a high clip, shooting it well. And I was on our pod, the Roll Jays, saying I'm actually worried about this, because we looked really good with Nick Graves scoring a lot. To me, we were never going to be a good team as long as Nick Graves was our leading scorer. And so now he's kind of regressed, and he's come back to his lower than his average. He'll improve. But that worried me from right away. And I think that's showing itself. The other two things, we were really unathletic except for Hudson and Kareem Conan.
Yeah.
That's going to be a problem as we continue. I don't know how you fix that. And the other thing is Ryan Kalkbrenner was a vertical threat, and that on ball screens, you could just throw it up. You just threw it. A lot of times you didn't even look. And that Steven would tell you that you didn't even look. You just came off the ball screen, threw it. He was going to catch it no matter where it was. Owen can't do that. And so anyways, it isn't a Creighton show, but yeah, we got our problems. Mac will figure it out.
I know it's not a Creighton show. Can I bring up 2 more things, though? And my number one is huge for the brand of Creighton, I'll say, though, is having the most viral call I've ever seen on the radio there. I just couldn't get away from it all day.
Yeah, dude, John, and that's John. Like he's like
That's
that.
awesome.
He's. I mean, imagine. So I used to be the first seat. So I would, a lot of games he's right there, and I'm like, what, dude? You gotta chill. Like
It'd be like if me calling a game. That's the way I looked at it.
And he's the
'Cause
best. We had him on Roll
insane.
Jays. Love John. Well, I spent hours and hours with that guy on road trips. He's the best, but he's not.
Can I tell you this real quick? First off, your boy is pretty good at this whole media game. Did you hear that, Batman? First thing. The second thing is when you're watching all the basketball I've watched this week on Feast Week, and you're yelling at the television, and your children are watching you. You know how well you've trained your kids, because my son, who's 2.5, will start yelling at the TV with me, language I can't understand. And my daughter, who's 1, looks at me and goes, ha, and just laughs, and just like, it's the best, because my oldest, who's 9, whenever I would do it back then, he would get scared. He's like, Dad, what are you doing? These kids are like, this is Dad right here. We know what's up. So
smoking a cigarette, like this is normal.
Yeah, this is normal. Yeah, my kids over there, smoking a stogie, like this is what we do. And so yeah, just so you know, like if you have kids and you watching a lot of sports and you're a psycho like me, yelling at the TV is not a bad thing. Don't go too far. Don't throw anything at your television. But if your kids like it, that's the best part. All right, man. Listen, we got.
Did you have one more take?
I did have one more quick take, and I think the opposite. I think Creighton is the opposite of DePaul, though, because I think where DePaul doesn't hurt you if they're not good, Creighton does hurt the league if they're not good. Because we came in with big Creighton expectations. If anything, they were like a guaranteed dancer. So I think that they're going to be interesting to watch, because they're kind of that wild card. Because I think we've had some guys slide up. I think Georgetown's all of legit. So let's say we have 4 other teams that are legit, and we're midway through the Big East, and Creighton's yet to kind of make their run. I would be looking at them like, hey, we could sneak Creighton in here if they really get it going.
Fair enough. No, that's actually a really great point. I'm glad Casey hijacked the show for that. That was a good thing.
It was needed.
It was absolutely needed for the greater good, for the brand.
Well, hey, before you go, Mark, I know you got to roll, Mark.
No, we don't. We're good. We're good.
Okay.
No, we're good. We're going to push past my initial deadline, because I want to get into this players era discourse and talk about the games, the format, some of the online stuff that Cap and I saw yesterday about. Listen, we can all joke around about this, but we can also be adults. Like my take about the players era is, does it suck that it's come to this where, you're playing for NIL money? Kinda. It kind of takes away the love of college basketball. Like your guy who had Cole Adams on, right?
Yep.
And I think I saw his thank you college basketball thing a couple years back, which is basically how I felt. And I'm way older than him. Whereas like when you're watching Feast Week and like you're watching these games and these MTEs, even games on campus, like you watched them when you were a kid because you came home from school and like basketball was on. I was like, oh shit, this is awesome. So like the idea that now we've bastardized the sport already, fine. But we don't have to be told that this is a great event. I think it's an event. I don't think it's good, bad, indifferent. I don't think it's fantastic. The one thing that I've said from the start is the games have been phenomenal. But could they be better? Probably, because if they were not in a soulless venture capital arena in the middle of the desert in Vegas, because BetMGM is sponsoring it, along with a million other casinos in Vegas, maybe that would be an issue. It's also kind of a shitty look when we're talking about all the betting scandals that we've had in college athletics, to play a freaking tournament on the Vegas Strip. It's like make it make sense, Cap. I don't get it.
Well, another thing, too, is I remember just the first time I turned it on, it's like the center court logo is massive. Have you ever seen a restricted area advertisement before? Because I never have. This is the first time I've seen a restricted area advertisement. I don't know how much it costs to get that space. I also don't love the idea of college kids spending an extended amount of time in Vegas, if I'm being completely real with you. And then, too, I guess for me, it's like the ball is awesome. And here's the thing. If we can't get this ball, if you can't get these kind of matchups, on campus, then that's great that we're getting them. If we wouldn't get it otherwise, that's great. But I'm like you, Mark. I don't need to be told what's great and what's not. And also, too, I mean, I liked your tweet to Joe Tipton, and this is a Joe Tipton, thing, but it's like the crowd's not good, objectively.
No, it sucks.
You can say, hey, it's in its second year. Be honest, like we're trying to build up the, kind of the culture here, but it's not there yet because it takes time for something new to catch on, of course. But don't say, oh, great crowd, and I see 12 people.
And also, and I texted Ryan Hamrick, who's there. And so, and Ryan's come on Spaces. He's been on my show. I think he did a Big East Weekly show when we first started. So, and Ryan's a great ambassador for college basketball. So I'm giving him a shout out. I'm not shitting on him or anything like that. He to me was a little more nuanced. Like he said some of the same things, but then in the discourse under his tweet, there were people like, dude, what are you talking about? He's like, I'm here. He's like, you don't understand it. During the game, it maybe feels like there's more people here than what you see on television, which is something that should have been said so that the dummies out there that are putting this out there don't you don't need to virtue signal after that. Just understand that the way it looks. My comment was, do you remember the beginning of Major League with Bob Uecker, RIP this year, going, oh, there's a great crowd out there in Cleveland. Let's hear it for him. And he's going, ah. But it's a radio show, so no one can tell.
Yeah,
it's like they were doing that, but we all have televisions and we can see it. It's just it's so disingenuous. Stop telling us that it's awesome. We know good ball. The Gonzaga basketball has been phenomenal. Michigan basketball has been phenomenal. The Tennessee Houston game was a Final Four level type game. What more do you need? You don't need to pump it up even more.
I just wish they'd be call more attention to the fact that these MTEs are never going to be these sold out, huge, massive crowds. You've seen a lot of people talking about Maui. I was lucky in my career. I got to play in that deal one time, and it was before the fires. So I got to play in the high school gym. Seats 2,400 people. Okay.
Right.
It's a madhouse in there. It's so loud. And there's 2,400 people. It's standing room only. The tickets are outrageous to try to get a ticket to the game. So when you look at that compared to the Players Era, which is, I think, an MGM,
yep,
that the place they're playing there is huge. It's not, it wouldn't matter. You could have 4,000, 5,000 people there, which is probably what they have. And it's going to seem like not as big of a crowd because of the what you're comparing it to. Same thing for the Bahamas tournament. Same thing for Charleston. That's the point maybe they should be trying to make. Not that this thing is so well attended. It's just that it's a good tournament. The reality is the games are awesome. And even then, Maui puts together a really good field. But compared to that, there's plenty of these tournaments. It's just they always seem to have a couple teams in it that's all right. Does anybody ever watch the Chaminade game? No. Okay. So I think that's a point to make is you're getting to watch great basketball. I don't care if there's one person or 25,000 people in there. It's a great game. I just don't get the you guys are calling out the constant seems like tweets about how great the attendance is and this and that. It's unnecessary. It just
Hey, Vegas is a comp culture, baby. Maybe their BetMGM is listen, man.
And if that's the case, good for them.
Listen. I will take a rack of 10 G's at the blackjack table if you want me to tweet out how great the crowd is at BetMGM next year. So business trip next year, we go to the Players Era for Vegas for a week. I'm in. Yeah. Maybe not a week. A week in Vegas is just, it would be gross. A couple days, right before Thanksgiving, we'll fly back, after the finals tonight and then go to Thanksgiving. But yeah, man, that's my thing is you just don't need to, it's it's like if you are, if Cap is running for president and I know some really shitty things about him, but I'm being serious. If I know some really shitty things about him and then it comes out, and everyone knows that, but then I lie about things on top of that, then who looks like they have no credibility? Me, even though Cap is the piece of shit that shouldn't. You see what I'm saying? It's the idea around you don't need to add on to something if it's unnecessary.
And that's my thing.
Is
you have a great event. Like you don't need to talk about the crowd. It's like you have some of the best teams in the country. Like, why do you even need to talk about that?
They better fix the event though.
I mean, you're right.
Tell people what the coaches are pissed about the event. I don't care, Cap, Casey. Why are they pissed about the event and how it works out?
Well, how do you? I mean, again, Iowa State, wins 2 games, and they're not in the. I mean, what do they? Did they play? I don't even know if they play today. I think they. I mean, it's like
I don't think so.
I'm not sure. I haven't seen their schedule, but it's they
get a free blackjack win.
Yeah,
they get
a free chip.
It's midnight before the entire deal is is released. Like I think too is you're playing a lot of really good teams, and it's good for your team, right? It's good for your team, but you're playing a lot of really good teams, and you don't really know what you're going to get from it. And so I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of different layers. I'd like to hear Cap what Cap's thinking, but I do think it's hard when you go undefeated and you're like, okay, well, you didn't beat your teams by as much as this team beat their teams by. So I don't know.
Go ahead, Cap. I guess I got a take on that too. Go ahead.
No, you're good. And I just don't know what's wrong with a bracket. Like, why would you need to fix that? A bracket's perfect. I don't understand what we're fixing here.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. And I know that this is what they're trying to do, because you get a bunch of coverage very similar to the NBA, and trying to mirror the NBA Cup thing, where you essentially like the point differential and all of that matters, and every bucket matters. They're trying to almost like a TBT, where like the Elam ending, like all that stuff. Like,
and I think that's the tone deaf part of it. No one's asking for that.
Right.
That's not what college basketball.
But no one asked for the NBA Cup either. That was thrown down everyone's throat if you're an NBA fan. Being serious, like.
But the difference there is nobody cares about the NBA regular season, so they're trying to drum up interest in the regular season.
But that's the whole point. Is like no one cares about this tournament at all. No one cares about the Players Era. No one does. Like, they care about specific games, like the game today, Gonzaga versus Michigan, probably the 2 best teams in the country, at least the 2 best teams in this tournament. I mean, that's a phenomenal outcome. It reminds me of when the BCS used to get the 2 right teams, even though the BCS was shit, but the end result ended up you get like the top 2 teams in the country. Great. So I get a great football game, but for the rest of us, it's a terrible process. It shouldn't matter about how much. Like, think about it. Gonzaga and Michigan won games by like 30 or 40 points. Those points don't even matter. Like, it only was plus 20. So if you beat a team by 20 plus points, that you could have stopped. You could have quit right there. It doesn't make sense. It's not college basketball. There's a bracket for a reason. Like, I don't get it. They're trying to create this new thing, and they're already doing it. They're going to add teams to the tournament. Like, enough's enough. Like, everyone gets paid now. Awesome. It's professionalized. At least keep some of the soul of the game still alive.
And I think one of the biggest things that I saw too was just this like elitist versus like the common guy vibe going on, because it felt like every single elite hat, person who has been in power, the Goodmans of the world, not to dunk on Goodman, was just like, this is so great. This is how it's going. I'm this arbiter of justice. I'm here to tell you what it is. And I think every fan is like, well, why are you telling me what college basketball is? Let us interpret it the way that we interpret it. And I think then the burners are just maniacs. So they just like go at their necks, and then they get immature about it. And it's this recess, crap of like, well, my dad could beat up your dad. It's like, what? Like, and then it's just like, Seth Davis, why are you responding to a burner with, this? And it just looks immature and stupid and childish. And that just causes this division. And I would like to see at some point the discourse, evolve past like, well, you're an idiot, well, you're a bigger idiot kind of thing. It's just like no one wins in that. You argue an idiot, you're an idiot type of deal. So, and I think that just kind of gets nasty, and then it creates like the Goodmans versus the Blue Demon Degenerates, and it's just like that stuff, and it just is dumb. And at some point I'm ready for us to evolve past it.
Well,
I don't know if I'm ready to evolve past how fun some of the Twitter discourse.
Well, it is fun, and then Curry Hicks Stage did a great space last night too, which I think is phenomenal, and I think it's cool what we do, because it is blurring the lines between like, well, I had the sources, I have this, I'm telling you what college basketball is, and I think what people want is people who have sources but are still the common man and can't necessarily be told what to say.
I think you are 1,000% right, Casey. Always great to have you. Before we go, Cap, what are you looking forward to on Thanksgiving? Not what are you thankful for? We're not doing. We won't do that. We won't get corny. Even though if you want, you can. I'm curious what's on your. Are you a Paul Fritzner guy? Are you going to be going to McDonald's? Or are you rolling with some traditional?
I'm pretty traditional. I'm going to be fasting a bit. Early day.
Yeah.
It's pretty much just going to be NA beers. Appetizer, and then big old plate, second big old plate, and then a dinner plate. What you guys is your third plate? About 10 p.m. I'd say. I go third.
Dude,
plate.
if I'm awake at 10 p.m. on Thanksgiving, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I take a midday nap, and then, but it's gonna be tough with this schedule. I mean, our Big East schedule's loaded.
You could never work for Hurley. You know that.
No.
You can't have the tryptophan.
Can't tryptophan. You do it Wednesday.
That was great.
You better start fasting now because the food's coming tonight.
Georgetown Dayton's gonna be a banger, though.
I agree.
Can someone in the Big East beat Dayton for the love of God as a Xavier fan?
Better,
please.
dude. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of Dayton. Dayton beat UConn last year, so I get it.
It's ugly. And then you've got Oregon Creighton, so it's gonna be a banger. Wisconsin Providence, awesome day.
I have my tenderloin prepared. I am so excited about that. I can't tell you how excited about that. But I'm like you, Cap. I will be today. I will probably eat like almost nothing. Like I will
really
fast hard.
You got to keep the digestive juices
it's
flowing,
a light day.
guys.
It's a light day today, Case.
No, Casey. You got
fellas. Listen. I'm not going full screen here, but I'm the pro here. Okay, you got to keep the digestive juices flowing.
It's like stretching. Like you got to stay warm.
Yes, exactly. It's like you got a microdose. You got a microdose.
No, man. No, but that's the thing is like you eat all day. Like you don't have like it's not like you just like wake up and like there's this huge turkey or ham or meat on your plate. Like it's all day, man. You got to prepare it. You have your appetizers, little shrimp cocktail, NA beers, all good, baby. Let's go.
Shout out Athletic Brewing Company.
So you're doing
here.
You're doing the tenderloin, Mark. I'm just doing turkey breast this year. I didn't do the whole turkey, which I should have because apparently turkey breast is way more expensive than the whole turkey.
Yeah, yeah.
I wish I would have known that before I committed to it. But so I got that brining. We'll go a little 12-hour brine on that. We'll get some spices and rub on that later on tonight for bed. Wake up.
Do you guys have a go-to side that like isn't traditional that you like have to have?
That's not traditional?
Yeah.
Non-traditional.
Like so like a go-to side, we have this. Because I'm a big mac and cheese at Thanksgiving guy. I don't know why
that's pretty traditional.
You say that's traditional?
Yeah, because I mean
some people like it.
I live down south now too, so like that's part of it. Like that's a traditional dish in the South. Up north, if I'm living in Connecticut, I was talking to my mom about this, like literally joke like about that exact same thing. Like mac and cheese just isn't a thing in Connecticut, right? At least not where I grew up. And so like, yeah, I mean, like do you know what I do miss about Thanksgiving in the Northeast is I am like 5 or 10% Polish, and my dad's side, and kielbasa, the kielbasa that was made at this small little shop. I'll give them a shout out. Philippex kielbasa, the goat of all kielbasa ever. I'm being serious. Like
I know. I just
good.
hope we get a kielbasa sponsorship. Yeah, I would like to have some.
Listen, I'm good friends with that Philippex family. I don't know if they specifically own it anymore, but like there's two spots in Meriden. I never had Chapikas because my parents were loyal to the Philippex. But man, like that kielbasa was so good, dude. Casey, if I can get a kielbasa sent to you, I will, because they do ship. They literally, if you go in that tiny little freaking shop, there's like pins of like where they've shipped all around the world. Dude, that place is insane. The
fact that in your town, you told me it's a smaller town, had a kielbasa rivalry is blowing my mind.
Polish families, dude. It was like the freaking Gangs in New York, but Polish style. Like they're like literally like my kielbasa is better than your kielbasa.
They're out there roping it, fighting.
Oh yeah.
That's
absolutely, man. I do miss that. The kielbasa, pierogies, sauerkraut, like all of that.
I actually, this is interesting. My mom used to make this like Jewish. We're not Jewish. So I don't know how this got in the mix. But she called it kugel, and I've looked it up. It looks way too complicated for me. But it's like noodles and egg and raisins, cinnamon. I know it doesn't sound like fantastic right now. I can't get my wife to eat it. No
matter why you're selling it so well.
Yeah, don't snapshot that quote, Mark. But So the Kugel is something I really like, but I haven't had it in a while. So I'll have to kind of bring it back. I don't know where some of my mom's old recipes were, so I got to find it. That would be the one for me though. Just random, nobody else eats it but us. So
there you go. Cap.
Kugel, baby. If anybody has a good Kugel recipe that's watching this, throw it in the chat.
Noodles and dessert sounds interesting.
Sounds awesome.
The Big East Energy family Thanksgiving dinner is gonna go insane. I'll say that. We got kielbasa, some Kugel. It's gonna be wild.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I just want to say shout out to I think who's the future UConn coach, Jim Gruden? Do we know yet?
Oh, you talking about Jim Moran?
Wow.
Woo!
Wow.
Hey,
make Nick Saban say no.
That'd be great. Listen, give me John Gruden in Storrs, Connecticut would be amazing. Come on now. Let's go.
I'm hoping he'll be the next Dolphins coach. So we gotta keep him.
Oh God. Yeah, that'll be a conversation for another day. That news hit late last night, but hey man, good luck in Colorado State.
Big East football.
Big East football is back. We'll talk to you guys next time. Happy Thanksgiving.